How is it going, vaqueros? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Bryson 800. This is my baby in Warzone. I absolutely love this shotgun. It is one of my favorites to use, and typically I have a very solid build that I run for, but there's always a few different ways to kit these things out. And with today's video, I'm just going to show you the build that I've been using for just pure range. This is going to be a great build for trying to pick people off really far away. If you really want to get some extra added range to your build, this is going to be it for you. And this is a really fun build that I don't always run, but I have had a blast with it, won a few games with it. It's super fun, so I figured I would share it and make a video with you guys about it. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and stick around because we're hopping into it now. So here is my quote-unquote long-range Bryson 800 build. As you can see, it probably looks pretty familiar in a lot of ways, except for one noticeable attachment. So first of all, we have the rifled barrel. This is pretty much mandatory if you want the most range out of pretty much any shotgun in the game. The rifled barrel is one of the best attachments for that. Next that we have that's a little bit different is the SAMX50. This is one of two attachments in the game that gives you a boost of about 14% damage range, I believe, according to sim.gg. Shout out to them. Which the other attachment is the SA Schwein DX. This one, the SAMX50 and the SA Schwein DX, both give you the same range benefit to your gun. The only big difference really to me for this particular gun, the Bryson 800, is that the SAMX50 doesn't hurt your aim down sight speed nearly as much as the SA Schwein DX. You could use either one, but really if you're going to be using a shotgun, you're going to be hip firing mostly, but sometimes you do want to aim down sights to get a little bit better of a boost to your pellet spread. And in that case, the SAMX50 is invaluable compared to the SA Schwein because, again, same boost to your damage range. It's just that your aim down sight speed isn't nearly as penalized, so you're going to be a little bit snappier, which in my opinion is a lot better. Then next, we have the Cronin Groove Shot grip. So I've made videos on these in the past before, but for the grips, if you want a grip that gives you a great tight hip fire spread that you can tune for that without hurting your aim down sight speed really at all, then the Cronin Groove Shot grip is for you. Now, typically, if I run a build with an SMG or hipfire build like that, typically I'll use the VX Pineapple because that gives you the same boost to your hipfire spread as the Cronin Groove Shot and the other one, which I think is the Bruin Warrior grip. They give you the same boost to your spread, but it's just that the VX Pineapple helps your recoil control and the Cronin Groove Shot does not. So this is the grip you want to use for just pure snappiness and also getting a good hipfire spread. So I definitely recommend that. The other alternative attachment you could run would be the one that everybody loves, which including myself, I love this one, is the Demo X50 Tactical Pump because it gives you a little bit of a better rechambering speed and it therefore kind of helps your time to kill. The thing is, when it comes to using the shotgun, I kind of commit to my cat and mouse gameplay where that difference in the time to kill isn't so massive that it makes a huge difference when I play with it and I play that way where I'm kind of hiding in and out of cover. Typically, I prefer running something like the Groove Shot where I get a little bit better hipfire spread and I really focus on playing to my surroundings, playing with the environment, making sure I can get in and out of cover really effectively or jump shotting and having a tighter spread because the Demo X50 is great. It's a great attachment and it's the other one I would run. If I wasn't rocking the Cronin Groove Shot, you can run the Demo X50. It's still a great attachment. It even gives you a little bit of aim down sight speed, not much, but a little bit. It's just that, like I said, personally, for my playstyle with this thing and for how I think most people should be playing with this thing, the Cronin Groove Shot is pretty awesome to have for your hipfire spread, especially if you're very aggressive. But like I said, you can kind of make a case for either or. You can use either attachment. I just recommend using the Cronin Groove Shot, but if you find yourself liking the other one, just swap it out for the Demo X50 Tactical. And then last, we have the sawed-off mod stock, which is, again, pretty self-explanatory. Now, the real nice thing about this build, like I said before, is the range, because normally I would be rocking something like the Bryson Choke, which is still a great attachment. It's one of my favorites to run, and I typically run it all the time. So for that one, if you're just rocking that build, your max damage range is out to about that 4.2 meter mark, and that's where you're going to deal about 200 damage. But when you put on something like the SAMX50, of course, it's like a 14% damage range increase, and it takes that to about 4.6, and your two-shot goes up to about 7.5 meters, which is really good. But the real fun part about these builds is that you can really push that range, and out to about 18 meters, you can try and pick people off. Like, you can do a little 3-shot kill action and pick people off that far. It's actually a lot of fun, and I encourage you guys to try it because it's just kind of goofy and kind of fun to try and quote-unquote snipe people with something like this. And you do have a suppressor, so it's a little bit harder to kind of know where you are, like to kind of pinpoint where you're shooting them from. It's just a little bit harder. It's not like they don't know at all, but it is kind of nice to have a suppressor at times, I'm not gonna lie. Now, if you really want to get crazy, you can actually use Dragon's Breath. Just swap out the Cronin Groove Shot or the Demo X50 for Dragon's Breath and try it out. The thing I don't really like about Dragon's Breath is it has such a steep drop-off after its first drop-off range, that you basically turn from a 2-shot to a 4-shot kill. And so without Dragon's Breath, it's much better and more versatile overall. But if you do have Dragon's Breath, your 2-shot range basically from your max damage range to your first drop off is better. It gets more range in those first 2 initial ranges, which means that your 2-shot is effectively going from about 7.5 to about 9.3, which is a pretty big jump. But like I said, again, this is more for range and kind of shooting people even farther than that. So even though it is really nice, and I do recommend trying it out to see if it's for you, especially with how much damage you can do with Dragon's Breath, this is more focused on going past that and having that really nice damage past that drop off. But like I said, Dragon's Breath still an amazing attachment to use on the shotgun, and I recommend trying it out as well. I just didn't make a dedicated class to it because I figured this was the one I wanted to show off, where it's more just pure range overall. As for my thoughts on this build, I've had a lot of fun with it. It's been pretty solid. I was thinking that without that Bryson choke, that my game would be just really bad and I wouldn't be hitting my shots, but it's actually surprisingly well and doing very, very well. And I think part of it is that the spread, since it's a little bit wider, but not super, super, super wide, that you can kind of hit a majority of your pellets and even hit a headshot here and there and get that extra nice bonus damage. So it kind of works out in a nice way. I think this is a good, fair enough kind of level of spread to your hip fire spread and your aim down sights pellet spread. I still think the Bryson choke is still just one of the best attachments to run overall, but this is a pretty solid build and it's a lot of fun to run. And that's definitely why I'm considering showing you guys this, because it's a lot of fun to try and pick people off from really ridiculous ranges. And this build is actually pretty good for it with those 3-shot ranges at about like 18 meters. It's a lot of fun, so I encourage you guys to try it. But that is just about going to do it for this video, guys. I wanted to try something a little different with this particular shotgun. So let me know down below in the comments, what do you think of this build? What do you think of the suppressor, the SA-MX50? Do you have another type of build that you want to rock with this shotgun that I should check out? And with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video.
Hostile UAV active.